Today's lesson is on how do we understand probability. The different possible results are called outcomes. The likelihood that an event will occur is called probability. Take a second to copy down those notes. So when we're finding probability, it's always going to be in a fraction. The denominator of the fraction is going to be the total possible outcomes, and the numerator is going to be the number of desired outcomes. So we're going to practice some problems with probability, but it is always going to be in that same format. Carrie will roll a number cube with sides labeled 1 to 6. What is the probability that she will roll a 2? What is the probability that she will roll a number less than 7? What is the probability that she will roll a number greater than 6? Take a second to copy down the question. Leave some space in between each part because we're going to write our answer in there. So, we need to find the probability that she will roll a 2. So we're going to have our fraction. The total possible outcomes in the cube would be 6. That's my total outcomes. My number of desired outcomes, the number of times that a 2 will show up, there's only 1 2. So my probability would be 1 out of 6. We can also turn probability into a percent. So I can divide 1 divided by 6 and multiply by 100, and I would get 16.6%. What is the probability that you'll roll a number less than 7? Again, it's going to be a fraction. My denominator is the total number of outcomes, which is still 6. And a number less than 7, all 6 numbers are less than 7, so my probability would be 6 out of 6. Or I can turn that into 100%. And the last one, what's the probability that you'll roll a number greater than 6? Again, it is still 6 possible outcomes. The number is greater than 6. There's 0 numbers greater than 6. So my probability is 0 out of 6. Or it is 0%. The spinner below, is the spinner below a fair spinner? What must occur in order for the spinner to be fair? Take a second to copy down the question and the spinner. You can just label the spinner as red, yellow, yellow, blue, blue, and then green, green, and green. So, in order for an object to be fair, all outcomes must be equal. If I look at this, there's 2 yellows, 2 blues, but then there's only 1 red, and 3 greens. So no, the spinner is not fair. In order for it to become fair, to make it fair, 1 green must become a red. If a green becomes a red, then it would be a fair spinner because there would be 2 sections of each color. And the last slide. Take a second to copy down this chart. Do not need to copy down the bottom part, just copy down the top part. Impossible, unlikely, even chance, likely, and certain. So these are words that we can use to describe probabilities. An even chance means there's a 50% chance that something will happen. A certainty means it's going to happen no matter what. That is 100% chance. Something that is impossible means it's never going to happen. So that would be a 0% chance. So anything in between 0 and 50, we consider that something that's unlikely to happen. Anything that's greater than 50 but less than 100, we consider that something that's likely will happen. So unlikely is, say, 1 in 6, because if you divide 1 into 6 to turn into a percent, you got 16.6%. So that's something that's unlikely to happen. Something that's likely to happen would be a 4 in 5 chance, like the chances of picking a green ball in this group of 5. So that's 4 out of 5, or that's 80%. That's something that's very likely to happen.